What's going on, guys? This is Demian from The Lookout, and I am here with Ivan from The Lookout. Yes, our only hyper competitive player here, the captain of the team, who is here to talk, and we're here to talk a bit some shit about Banlist. Just Ivan has his own ideas, and I have mine, and we're just gonna talk about stuff. More of a discussion and design things than like, hey, this should be banned. Ivan, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, thanks.
Awesome.
And hope everybody else is doing fine, especially after this video.
Yeah, this video is gonna be, well, hopefully you will all be doing fine after this one. So, I'm looking at you, former SS4 scene and Gogeta and Sim players. Kitco players now. Anyway, so we're gonna start in the order of colors. So, Ivan is gonna start us off with his first ban list idea. Let's go.
Yeah, regarding Red has its own issues. You can, I don't know, talk about explosive dance or whatever else you want. But looking at some stuff that need to be hit, I would like to see Bunny Girl, of course, to see a band. But other than that, actually, errata to Earthling only leaders, so that other strategies cannot profit off her. Because when you look at the gaming attack perspective and the designs they made with floodgates, that there's supposed to be extra card floodgates or whatever. When you're using Bunny Girl and let's say Chaozu in combinations, you get into the complicated territory of, oh, should I counterplay it with a battle card counterplay or a Koitsukai or whatever? But when you Koitsukai your opponent, he just plays Explosive Dance, and after you try to go through Explosive Dance, you go through Omens of Evolution. So if they want to balance the game in that regard, maybe Bunny Girl should stay with her Earthling leaders, but not to actually mix her with the Red Saiyan powers, because the Saiyan leaders are always more powerful than the rest. We can actually talk about it more in green. Uh, Other than that, yeah, the Kitku leader auto should be fixed like once per turn, because as you nicely explained in the past video, that the Z unison strategies don't work. Either they should print the unisons that have barrier, or they should give them some autos that they should gain barrier on entry in regard to leader or in regard to the unison or something like that for the turn. Or even they can actually make, I don't know, a new rule set or something that, prevents unisons from being marker removed on the turn they actually come into play. That's my 2 cents regarding red. Yours?
Well, I mean, like, I've obviously said my feelings about Kitku yesterday, which I'm sticking to my guns. I think that's the way that it's designed with Z unisons is beyond stupid. Other than that, is there anything else with red? I'm not on board necessarily. I'm not on board with, for example, banning or limiting Bunny Girl or anything like that. I am on board with just leader lock, just Earthling leader locking the card, and that's it. Because in my from my perspective, it's a card that's been going in and out of decks here and there, but it's never been as oppressive. It was somewhat oppressive in the very, very first iterations of Infinite Combo Bulma when that shit was just discovered, but it was a very brief period. But it was never really like super oppressive until Kitku came, because he gives the minus 15k follow up on everything, on your play and stuff like that. So I think that a card that hasn't like historically been oppressive except in one deck that's just broken bullshit shouldn't be banned. But I think just limit to red Earthlings as it always should have been, and that might just be the best solution for it.
Yeah,
So
because she has a lot of things going for her, so she can only return Earthling cards, which was when Red Future Gohan Trunks try to use her. She will always just like return the Bulma one drop, so you can draw a card and you can combo off the Bulma. So okay, you have the like more free leader cost to reduce the costs of the Trunkses. But when you have Bulba Girl in a Saiyan deck, and every Saiyan deck has always all of the goodies, it just, I don't know, it feels bad, man, after after a while.
Yeah, Red Say Index are.
Oh,
Well,
also, she does not progress the game state that much. That's also really impactful. And I'm also speaking from like a competitive point of view. When you play, let's say, against slower players, when they start negging every attack, blocking everything, playing everything for free, negging again, it can actually become really frustrating in a competitive scene.
yeah, absolutely. So, what else do we have? Which color are we moving to now?
We should move to blue.
Okay, I have nothing to say for blue. Honestly, I don't think, from my perspective, I don't think that there is anything that needs. I think blue is like in such shit state at the moment. Like blue is in a very, very bad state at the moment. So I don't think that there is much that needs to be touched. Though looking forward to, let's say, BT26, we have Broly, who's like borderline unplayable, and we have Gogeta, who was designed to win worlds. But I don't think that there is anything that currently exists that makes the two decks like super strong.
I
One
mean,
thing that
though, oh, please, please, please,
one
sorry.
thing that I would like to see, it's a discussion for a different day, but we can bring it up now. I want to see an errata to Beast Gohan SER. I want him to say 2 or more lives. Just, I think all SERs that burn lives need to be like 2 or more. Specifically, the Evil Saiyan who's already 2 or more, or the Beast Gohan. So, Cell, you need to follow up with a play. Beast Gohan, you pay 2, you burn the last life. That's it. Like, it's over. So, that's the one thing that I would like to see. Just an errata to that, and nothing else in blue, from my perspective, needs to change.
Yeah, and you're right because when he actually does, when Blue plays the thing, if you have so generic SCRs, you can actually kind of predict that they're playing maybe Beast Gohan, but it can also bluff you into thinking that they have the Beast Gohan. So you have this situation where um, how do I put it? They could just pressure you, and you cannot give them your, if you're on 2 lives or on three and they're threatening with a double strike or something, you cannot give them that life. And at the end, they don't have to have the piece go home. They should just have the two energy up, and then you think that they have it. And that puts you in a precarious position sometimes. And I agree. They should put a limit of some sort, like the Cumber SCR, where they cannot burn the last life. They have to attack you for it. And I
Yep.
agree completely about it. Because when we're talking about blue, maybe we will have some future discussions about Gojira or Broly being banned like the new decks. But that's going to be a specific deck card that's supposed to be banned, I think,
Yeah.
because everything else is really generic. So let's say in 2 months' time, when talking about the ban list, you're gonna want to, I don't know, ban one of the 4 drops or the 5 drop Gojiras. Let's say like that, and that's that. But regarding my opinions, I want to see Soul Striker, any variation of the leader banned. I hate set one leaders. I hate people who hate is a too strong of a word, but whenever something falls back in blue, you see a Soul Striker leader, and something happens when something generic is played, and then that deck constantly is somewhere. So if we don't have Yellow Frieza, please let's not have any variation of Soul Striker. And Turning the Tide maybe designs limits game design. So that's a really good card to actually have it in consideration, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I just wanted to go briefly back when you were talking about Beast Gohan. Another thing that why I think this thing really needs to be slapped with an errata. We just saw yesterday we got the Gogeta God Rare, and that Gogeta card is pushed so hard. Like, it does everything. It draws your cards, it gets your super combos back from the Z energy, it has all the keywords in the world, it bobs the leader. So, but then again, it will likely not see play because you will
Yeah,
just play Beast Gohan instead. And at that point, you either have to errata Beast Gohan, or the next card is, I don't know what the next card needs to be. Because if we go back, before Beast Gohan, we had Hatch. And we were often discussing, Hatch makes it so that you can't lose. So one turn. So if you power creep Hatch, what the card would have to do? It would have to say like win the game, and now there's a card that says win the game.
I mean
So
that card exists for at least a year, but when all things fall into place, especially in blue, you have this, and if they want to have the Gojira SCR as a chase card, not only as a god rare chase card, they should actually do something to Beast Gohan.
yeah, okay. Now I think it's what, yellow?
Green.
Oh, okay. So you start then with green.
Broly Omen of Evolution as a ban because too many decks are using it. Since in a red, in combination with Explosive Dance, even in some green decks, you can actually use it to disrupt the Z Unison mechanic if you see it early on. And since it's not color locked or leader locked, it should actually be looked upon as a consideration. What do you think about?
I'm thinking, well, Broly Omen of Evolution. Yeah, it's been again. It always needs a bit more consideration when it's those cards that's been around forever. But considering the necessity of early game Z charge, especially now when the majority of leaders have the awakening condition to have your Z Unison, Z Extra, Z Battle, blah blah, whatever out on turn 2, or otherwise you're screwed. You're just not awakening. That turn, I think the disruption that Broly does, I feel like it brings this layer of. Part of me wants to say like strategic complexity, but the other part wants to say like there's nothing really complex about just slapping Omen of Evolution on your opponent's wing and saying like, hey, good luck. Tough shit
Yeah,
now, isn't it? So
yeah, because it's fun when you use it like turn 3 or 4 in the Explosive Dance, complications, because it's a gimmick. But when you have it turn 1 and just snipe the Z energy, and he should what? A player would always have to presume to combo 2 against you because you can potentially play it. What are
yeah,
you
dude, like
doing?
no. No one is going -2 in hand in case you just pulled your one out of two copies of Omen of Evolution. Dude, like
Yeah,
no.
because at least Pilaf Shumai has that gimmick of he's revealing it to you and playing it to you, so you know you have to combo 2. But this one doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. So no, I'm on board. I can see this one go away strictly because of that. Like it's not a card that fundamentally breaks the game, but it's given that the current leaders can't awaken in a different way other than be on low lives on turn 2. I think that like it's worth at least considering maybe getting rid of this card specifically for that reason alone.
Yeah, because if you look at mono strategies, you have to have 2 energy, you have to have either a Z Unison or a Z extra card in play or whatever. But we don't have any contemporary, like modern solutions to taking lives. So even if we take, let's say in a sci-fi certain way that they design something else, that if you're in a situation where, from a game design perspective, if you're in a situation where you can't play a Z Unison or you cannot play a Z Extra because you're missing the Z energy to do it, they should at least print some kind of archetype cards that like take you to 4 lives. Like on two energy, take yourself down to 4. It's I know what I'm talking about. So whoever tries to say that I'm insane, please go to your mom and say it. Just like to have an alternative. So if you cannot play as a Unison Z extra, then bring yourself down to 4 so you can actually awaken if you needed to go there.
Yeah, we could have. I could see something like that in the future, like if you are on X energy and your leader is on the front side, blah, just awaken. because the game is currently designed that you awaken on turn 2. So you're already being punished enough by going down to 4 lives instead of 6 to awaken. So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
because we're on the topic of green, I was experimenting with the new Vegito leader, and I was looking at how can you prevent your opponent from awakening, even actually punishing them for awakening. And the Vegito leader can actually just negate swings and prevent your opponent from ever awakening. He can do it like until like turn 3, 4. So it's possible, but that's a specific leader that can actually prevent that.
What
Yep.
else do we have on green?
I was considering like the Bardic Unison, the 2 drop from set 10, just because of rogue decks like Cell. Cell is a rogue deck, but if you're focusing on combo-centric Z Unisons or Z Extras, that's a card that shouldn't be able to exist. I mean, a lot of the cards that we're actually talking about aren't specifically cards that we are advocating. I don't know what, that we're on the street somewhere and advocating for bans, but like from a game design perspective, you shouldn't even have cards that are, like lurking beneath or behind the rock, and then whatever new mechanic comes up, they're like, "Oh, look at us, we're broken," and then everybody would be, they were never used until they said, yeah, but in this current state, they are nuance, annoying, not annoying. They can actually, break your game concept or something like that. Other than that, I would like to refer to the on Big O's channel. They have their podcast on the whole discussion about dormant and uneasing. Uh, that's a discussion about strong say and negates. Like uneasing is great. Dormant is universally for green, and if Dormant ever gets touched, any non-saying green deck literally dies on the spot. That should never happen until they print something like uneasing, but for non-sayings. Piccolo is not enough, and I was thinking about two more green things. One is Solidarity, a drop limit one, and the other one is the Gohan campaign rare limited one or banned, but we should not talk about bans like that because the Gohan campaign rare in Vegito specifically can passively remove 3 markers from a unison because the card is not charged with his skills negated. So even with the leader effect and with the unison effect, if you charge it, you pay a green, you automatically remove 3 markers.
Okay. So let's, for the sake of my editing, let's go over each of these. First off, I have here a note from my wife. It's pretty simple, it's just 3 words. Don't touch dormant. So we're not touching dormant. Yeah, my feelings on dormant are just that like it should not be touched unless, of course, something else comes along. Because currently every single green deck that can run only dormant is shit. Like it's rogue at best. So dormant is not in itself a problem. It's uneasing and dormant and king hold on top of that, and then you're like, okay, dude, like please stop. When it comes to Bardock, I'm gonna be biased and say that I don't want it to be banned. It's my favorite unison in the entire game. I think Bardock is okay. I think Bardock is the one thing that Hand Destruction has going for it, and that has to be a very specific build of Hand Destruction to be able to abuse it. Which is why I think like okay, if you really want to hit it and you don't want to ban it, you can add like once per turn, so he has to trigger on the first combo. Otherwise, he just loses it. But otherwise, I think that I would not touch it because, if the Oolong card, if the Oolong Z Unison was not such shit, I would say like, okay, maybe we can see Bardock go. Like, but Bandai doesn't want to give me a 20k base Z leader who's just like +1 discard a card, so we have to deal with what we have. Solidarity, I can see it actually. Like, I think Solidarity is the best green boss monster in the game, but the thing is that Solidarity is also teetering on the brink of being the best boss monster in the game. Like, and before the current before the latest set, I would say like okay. I mean, like, sure, you run like Solidarity, free, 4 copies, whatever. But now that you can also go into Gogeta on top of Solidarity, and you can run the two just in every deck under the sun, I could see it. And it's coming from someone who just loves green more than anything. So I could see it limited to one simply because it's exceptionally fucking strong. It's
Yeah.
absurd how
Um,
powerful that card is.
and I have to interject because if you're missing out on energy, if three is too much, you can just play the Bojack and the Gojira. And the only people here that's gonna say, "Ah, Solidarity is not a problem," you're probably playing either green or you're playing black because you're the only people who have petrification.
Yeah, pretty much, probably. Bojack is an amazing replacement. I think that we can just say like no to Solidarity, and you'll just run Bojack. Bojack can just kill a Unison when he comes out, which is amazing. And he's an 8 to drop, pay 2 energy, go into in total go into Gogeta. That's also fine. Last was the Gohan. I think Gohan is. I mean, like the way that you put it, specifically due to the Vegito Z Unison also being able to do that, I think like yeah, Gohan should get limited to one because now it's no longer the leader. It's just you pack the Vegito Z Unison in the deck in case you run into a Unison centric deck. And then you just say like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna do this. If you don't run into it, you just play a different Z Unison, and you don't care at that point.
Yeah,
That's yeah,
and don't get me wrong, if people are sniping the markers off the blue unison, the blue one, or the double unison, I'm happy with it. I would think that I would then jack up the Gohan rate to like remove 7 markers, but people are gonna snipe 2 cost unisons with him.
yeah. And my addition to what I would like to see,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to see an easing on. I just want to see an easing dead. I think the situation with an easing reminds me of back when BT18 came out, and you know how Bandai was reluctant to touch Gogeta and Sin, so they touched literally everything else and just like try to like move like okay, what if this one card is gone, or like what if this line of text is changed? That's uneasing. Like they've been dancing around uneasing for so long. It's like, oh, now in Gohan it doesn't draw you. Oh no, my 15 card hand is not one card bigger. No, I mean, like I play uneasing in every single Saiyan deck. I'm never worried about my hand size with it. It's okay, okay. So I think uneasing needs to go, and that basically solves a lot of problems with green, because the best green decks are now on equal footing with all other green decks because they have to use dormant now. Of
I
course,
agree.
Gohan is gonna just say like lol and use King Cold as well, but fuck the deck. So
Yeah,
okay,
and another thing is that only red can actually play around it on early in the game, like on turn 3. Other decks need to do it on turn 4 if your deck is a bit more energy demanding that then the hunt is just it doesn't exist.
yeah. Now we have yellow. Okay.
Ban Absolute Annihilation.
Yeah, yeah, Ben
Gone.
Absolute. Gone. Yeah.
Gone. Doesn't make any sense. If Cooler was banned even after I don't know like how long did the game exist? After 27 years, Cooler was banned. They should actually ban Absolute Annihilation sooner.
Yeah, I think that them just then it's the same as with Dormant. They're just uneasing. They're just dancing around the stupid card. Like at this point, you like look like we can just ban it. Like honestly, we can just ban it. Like there's no. It's similar to Cooler. It's a card that's gonna be like. It's not necessarily a problem this millisecond, but then it might just be with the next set, or it might just be with some other strategy. It's a perpetual problem card that like you're just like, come on, let's just got this and that's it. But
Yeah, And another thing I would like to say, like the Sin Cold Hearted Limit 1, because that card, if it's played, there's a chain that you can actually do, and it's not that interesting to play against it because they can actually recur it. Other than having a card that on play removes it from play, if the card doesn't have barrier, he will, blank it if you attack. So if you kill it on play, your opponent can play it after. If you swing and kill it, and you play something after the card that you played, they can counterplay with another sin. The sin, since it's a 24k barrier blanker, not just a blocker, that card to me is problematic. And in the Nuova and Oceanus, the card can actually, like dull the game progression, like dull it. Not just okay, I have a barrier blocker. Who cares? Boo has barrier blockers. We always had barrier blockers. But when you have a card that blanks, that's like, okay, so you have a 9 drop and a 4 drop in play. What the hell am I supposed to do after a while? Because the removal effects are different. It hits different. You can remove the 9 drop with the Overwhelm Barda, but you cannot remove the 4 drop with, I don't know, let's say Masked. You have to have a built-in color barrier removal. The whole discrepancy is actually showing there. And Sin is actually really strong counterplay when chained. When you're doing it in sequence. That's my opinion on the yellow color as yellow.
Yeah, I think I can basically guarantee you, I can guarantee everyone listening here that Sin is gonna get banned or limited to one. And how I know is that the card came out when last year in wave one. And after opening close to 30 packs where you can open Sin, I finally have my playset. I've actually got it with my last casting compensation. I've opened the last two of them. So now it's time for it to go away. Because Demian, you can have fun like using the Sin. But yeah, I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
and since Mattia stopped playing, we actually don't know what's gonna get banned anymore because whenever he would play something, that thing would get banned. So we don't even have that.
Yeah, he got super excited about swap support, so be on the lookout, swap players. Like Goku's lineage is about to get hurt.
Yeah, but that Gohan is gonna be abysmal to play against. That deck is actually gonna be really strong, and I was looking at the set 5 or set 6 Gohan leader to play it as a beatdown deck. Well, I will say that if you draw just certain things until your turn 2, you can actually swing like more than 10 times into your opponent's face
Yeah, that's
while
insane.
going first.
Yeah,
I saw a deck list on the Facebook group and I tweaked it a bit, and I do not like that. That's why I think that even Oolong, the one drop Z battle card, should get banned. Because if we have Absolute Annihilation in play, if we can actually play Mira, there is no universe in where you can play a one drop that has 65k power and just swing.
yeah, yeah. Is that it for yellow? Or
Yes.
yeah. So we are moving to black, and I'm just gonna open with what everyone has on their minds. Unless you're playing black, if you're playing black, you're probably unsubscribing now. Um, the counterplay needs to fuck off. The Goku Vegeta counterplay just needs to die. Limited to one. You don't need to ban it. I'm sorry if charismatic villain was a problem on turn one, and and is limited to one, and this thing is charismatic villain on steroids. It draws you a card, it charges a Z energy, it puts out a 20k body with two character names so that you can go into your boss monster, and it charges you Z energy, and it buffs a Z leader, and it warps a thing. Like at this point, you're like, dude, like no. Plus, you can just get it back with Beyond All Limits. Like, yeah, okay, like I want some more counterplays. Thank you very much. Now, this thing needs to be limited to one. Like Black had its moment under the sun, and Black is still gonna have its moment under the sun with Vegito and Goku are still strong. I argue that Goku is stronger if you remove the counterplay, because he's just pure aggression. He doesn't depend so much on defending his things. But the counterplay needs to go away. Like the counterplay, like seriously, it's like limited to
The
one.
Yeah, the traits on the counterplay are problematic. If it were a black Hercule card that's an Earthling and that it had like, let's say 15k power, then this discussion would be different because let's remember Frieza as the charismatic villain. It was a overtuned card. It was you had to play against it or it around it, whatever. But it wasn't played that much because it wasn't played in his trait. Because even though the Frieza Clan Green decks existed, you couldn't actually search it that much because it was usually played in Green Saiyans, let's be honest. So he wasn't that easily searched. Even Cell Search played it, and what? It's still a Frieza clone. So you don't have that profit margin, let's say. But this, or even I don't know, Yamcha was an Earthling and it was usually played in Saiyan decks or something like that. But when you have a black Saiyan with the both names that you need for fusion, well, yeah, that creates a problem. And it's 20k and it's free. It doesn't reduce its cost, so you can actually counterplay it. He's not incentivized to play it under Koitsukai. Other than that, they don't have any fear.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
If there's only one more thing that I would change is, and I think it's overdue. I think this is long overdue. Giving the SS4 Vegito boss monster limit one to fusion. So that card is, yeah, you can have four of them, sure, but just like have limit one on them. That's a SS3 for thwarting the Dark Empire just stronger. So
Yeah,
every single deck is running it. Every single deck is running it.
I mean, they have to.
Yeah. So
If we had like more normal berry removal like that early, okay, but just always in this state of the game where your mulligan condition is like this, uh, you I don't know, pick your first six cards, you see a Demigra, and you're supposed the Heavenly Wizard, of course. You're supposed to keep it, but the rest of your hand is trash. It happened to me a lot of times. And if we had more concrete berry removal earlier, then maybe it would be okay. But I agree with your limit one, and it's a good idea actually, because the mulligan condition actually screwed a lot of math problems or math solutions actually in Dragon Ball.
okay, so if you don't have anything else to add, we can move to multicolored.
But I don't know. I was considering the Goku 6 drop to limit 1 in the deck to prevent the returning of the cards because they
Yeah,
can't have that many one-offs then, but for consideration. People, please remember, we're talking about stuff, not actually doing it.
yeah, yeah. But you cannot here. Beyond the limits is beyond the limits. So Bandit just
Yes,
screwed
yes.
themselves. There's only one thing in multicolored that needs to be banned. Multicolored hasn't seen a lot of play. Almost any after Android 21 died, everywhere except in America. But yeah, we know what's it like over there with Android 21. So there is not like really targets to ban. And I was considering, like there's like what the only multicolored card that says plays Gogeta, and Gogeta's okay, sure. Like we can leave Gogeta alone. So there is only one thing that I want to see banned, and with BT26 bringing in new support, I think we need to ban Invoker Leader, the original one. I think he's gonna be the original Invoker is gonna be a bit too strong with the newest support. I think Legends broke it, and we should not go into a world where Invoker is playable. So I was thinking, do we like ban the Catastrophic Blow or the Z Unison? I'm like, nah, we can just ban the leader. Like Surge leaders. I think it's time for Invoker to go. It's been way too oppressive over the last couple of years.
Well, I mean, I can agree with you. But since we were talking about Keiko, maybe we shouldn't like outright ban the leader.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
suggest an errata that when it's You know when the thing when he enters combat, when he discards a card to draw a card. Let's make it a once per game effect, so people can still play it.
Yeah, yeah, you can still play it. You just pitch one per game and you draw one. So like it's balanced. You're two strong colors. What do you want?
Yeah,
Anyway,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah. So anyway, I think that's it for us today, guys. So yeah, Ivan, thanks for coming over,
Thanks
and
for inviting me.
I'm looking forward to reading comments on this one. So anyway, yeah, let's see how much we got right this Friday. Let's see how much we got. Well, we split. We did just kind of like throw 10 cards over there. We're just like doing a spray and pray at the moment. So we will just see what happens. Anyways, guys, this has been Demian from the Lookout, and this has been Ivan from the Lookout, and we'll see all of you in the next one.